All right, so Chodesh Kislev, a good Chodesh, everybody. Mazel tov, gesund Chodesh. It's Rosh Chodesh today. What is Kislev? So I want to share with you the fact that the Jewish months actually have Mesopotamian and Babylonian origin. Imagine from Mesopotamia, not Jewish, from Mesopotamia or Babylonia. That's where the names come from. Cheshvan, Kislev, Teves, not Jewish origin. Yet Chazal, the rabbis, teach us that although it has Mesopotamian and Babylonian origin, the word has a tremendous correlation and etymology that is rooted in Lashon HaKodesh as well, and has a tremendous sod, a tremendous secret, resplendent with tremendous splendor. So what am I meaning? So first I want to share with you that it's not so posh, it's not so simple, that Babylonia, Mesopotamia is what we call, let's say, just mundane. The Gemara says, the Talmud in Tractate Psachim, Daf Pei Zayin Amud Beis says, that Babylonia, modern day Iraq, is actually called Iman Shel Yisrael. It's the matriarch of the Jewish people. Iraq, Babylonia, not Eretz Yisrael. It says that Babylonia is Iman, the mother of Klal Yisrael. What does this mean? How could it be that Babylonia is the mother of Klal Yisrael? Says the Maharsha. Unbelievable what he says. The Maharsha says because the genealogy, the genesis of Klal Yisrael, of Yiddishkeit, began in none other than Babylonia, because Avram Avinu was from Babylonia. So ask the Mefarshim, what do you mean? Avram Avinu came from Haran. Haran seemingly was in Turkey, not in Babylon, not in Iraq. But Ur Kasdim was in Babylonia, and that is where the Renaissance happened. That is where Avram Avinu started showing his conviction, his temerity, his fortitude, his faith, and spreading the ideals of values, of godliness to the world, where he was thrown into a furnace because of his philosophy and convictions and his ideology. And that's why Babylonia is called Iman Shel Yisrael, because Iman means Emunah. A mother means Emunah. Any woman here has within her the ability to convey, to impart, to inculcate Emunah, because that's what aim is all about. Emunah is aim. And the faith of Klal Yisrael, the faith of the Jewish people, began in Ur, in Babylonia, and that's why Babylonia is called Iman Shel Yisrael, the mother of the Jewish people. There's another answer, says the Maharsha. The Gemara says, the Sanhedrin Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Beis, says the Gemara that Adam Rishon, primordial man, his head came from the land of Israel, that's where his head came from, but his body was actually created from Babylonia. And therefore, since the majority of our bodies was constructed, was built from Babylonia, that's why it's called the mother of the people, of the Jewish people. Says Rav Yosef Engel, an amazing idea. He says that Chava, the first woman, came from not the head, but came from the body of Adam Rishon, and that's why it's called Iman Shel Yisrael, because Chava was the mother of the Jewish people, and she came from the body which was transplanted from none other than Babylonia. Yet, it's a Babylonian name, but Kislev means Kisei Lamed Vav. Kisoy, Chav Samach is a cover. And it means that Lamed Vav is 36. The 36 is covered in Kislev. What is 36? When the Rabbi Shalom, the master of the universe, created the world, he said, Vayom Elokim Hi'or, let there be light. According to Chasidish Sfarim, this is the first commandment ever given to humanity, where God was saying, light up the world, illuminate the world, bring light, kindle and souls, bring back people, make light. But what happened to that light? This is Achlekes between Rabbi Yaakov and the Chachamim. Rabbi Yaakov says that this light was actually concealed after creation and hidden away. Ganus. It was a secretive light, obscure light, clandestine light. And the Chachamim say that the light actually stayed until the fourth day, and it was synonymous almost with the sun, the solar light that God created on the fourth day. But when was Adam, when was human being privy to this light? Adam had this light when he was created on Friday until Shabbos, through Shabbos Kodesh, 36 hours he had this light. Says the Gemara in Chagiga, Daf Yud Beis, the Talmud says in Chagiga, page 12, that this light was ennobled and enabled Adam Harishon to see Misayfa Eilam Ad Sayfa, the entire span of planet Earth he was able to see. It was a translucent, it was a transparent, it wasn't opaque. It was a light that enabled Adam to see everything. What does it mean he was able to see everything? Says in Nefesh HaChaim, Rav Chaim Volozhin, he says that it means that he was able to see the entire reality of the world. Says the Afike Yam, another pshat. He says that it means that there was no refraction of the light. It means that he was able to see there was a pristine light that was totally transparent, and with this light he was able to see from one end of the earth unto the other end of the earth. Says Rabbi Chanukah, the same idea, that it was a certain type of special light. What's interesting is that the Gemara says in Nidaf Daf Lamed Amud Beis that every baby, while it's a fetus in the womb of the mother, you gotta hear this, amazing. Every baby has the ability to see misoif ha'olam ad soifo, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Now the Yaibitz Rabbi Akim Emden says that what it means is that every person is a miniature world, or olam katan. So he says that it means that the baby is privy. The baby is able to see its entire history from its very, very beginning until the end of it, when it's eventually going to die. The baby is privy to all that information. That's what he says it means. But the Gemara also says that there's a light hovering over, a candle hovering over the fetus while it's in utero, while it's in the womb of its mommy. It says Rav Shalom of Neustadt, who was the Rebbe of Maharil, going back to the 14th century, 13th century. You know what he says? He says, if you look at any little child, all little children, all babies, you could try this at home with your children or grandchildren or whoever that you love, any little children you love, try it. Take a baby and see how it's naturally attracted. It has an affinity. It has a certain type of attachment to a flickering candle, to an illumination, to light. Why does a baby gravitate? Why does a baby like light so much? Says Rosh Neustadt, the Rebbe of the Maharil, because while it was in utero, while it was in the womb, it had that candle, and it's reminiscent. It reminds the baby of being ensconced and enveloped, of being secured and comforted in the most pristine. It says, the Gemara says that this is the happiest state that the baby will ever find itself in, and it brings back those memories of sublime ecstasy and joy. So the baby sees everything, just like Adam Rishon saw everything. Let's go back to 36 hours. Adam had this light for 36 hours, but it was tucked away. The light was hidden away for the future. Where did it go? Says the Rokeach, Rabbi Elazar Rokeach, one of the Bali Tosfos from the 12th century. Says the Rokeach that if you count the Chanukah candles in Kislev, Kisoi Lamed Vav, Kislev, a contraction, hidden away 36. It's a permutation because every day you light a candle. So if it's a geometric progression, it's called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you add it all up, it's the totality is 36. It's hidden away, the 36. It's, you want to tap into the sanctity, you want to tap into the holiness, you want to tap into that clairvoyancy, into that amazing prophecy where you can see everything. It's all in the 36 candles. It says the B'nai Sosra that's why he says that people should light 36 Shabbos candles every single week. Because Shabbos reenacts, Shabbos recreates. I don't recommend it. I don't advise it, you know. Don't try that at all, 36 candles. But it's all there. It's all there. Says the Baal Shem Tov that when you study Zohar especially, you can actually go ahead and tap into that light. There was actually a story of Nebuch, somebody that was kidnapped, and they didn't know the whereabouts of this child, and they went to the Baal Shem Tov. He opened up the Zohar, he looked into the Zohar, and then he said, he plotted out on a map exactly where the child is. He said, how do you know this? He says, I don't understand. He says, wasn't there a light that Adam saw the entire world? He says, I could see the entire world because I studied the Torah. That light was concealed in the Torah Kadosh. So whether it's in the 36 candles or in the Torah on a daily basis, it's there. The Kisoi Lamed Vav. And this is a month of tremendous holiness. It's a month of light. It's a tremendous month. 36 tzaddikim, they're Lamed Vavniks. Lamed Vav tzaddikim in every generation. But furthermore, what century? You gotta hear this. What century did Chanukah fall out in human history, from BCE, from the Jewish calendar? It actually came out in the year 3622 BCE. 3622, 36th century. 36. So what am I talking about this? You know that in the entire Tanakh, Torah Nevi'im Eksuvim, there's only one woman, a very distinguished, unique woman, in which the Torah actually tells you the date of her death. Rather, how many years she lived. Only woman in Torah, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim, the entire Tanakh. Who was that woman? How did you know that? How do you know that? That means that you're proficient in the entire Tanakh. Okay, because last week's parsha, 2 weeks ago was Chayesar, right? But how do you know that? So it's actually a very interesting, it's an anomaly. The entire Torah, there's only one woman, the entire Torah, who gives you how old she was when she died. Many men, even Yishmael, who was wicked, let's say he did Shuvah then, tells you Yishmael was 137 when he died, Avraham Avinu was 175 when he died, Yosef Atzadik was 110 when he died. Many personalities, it tells you their age when they die. The woman, there's only one woman. Why? Why? So this is a question that's asked by the Rokeach, it's asked by the Rishbam. The Rishbam was Rashi's grandson, Shmuel ben Meir. It's asked by the Mincha Blula. It's asked by the Ar Chaim HaKadosh. It's asked by Rav Shamshua Fol Hirsch. They all ask the question. I mean, Sarah was great, but there were many great women. There were many prophetesses. There were many heroines of the Jewish people. You got to be careful when you say the word heroine today. It could mean something else, right? Such great woman, illustrious woman. So you know what the Rokeach says? He says, you know why? It's because Sarah was the founder of the Jewish people. She was the one that imparted the emunah, the faith. She was the iconoclast. She was the Renaissance woman. She was the initiator. She was a catalyzer. There was no one greater than her. They were like, called Batman and Robin, Avram and Sarah, right? Avram did the men, Sarah did the women. They changed the face of the universe. And that's why the Mincha Blula says another reason. He says, you know why I had to tell you Sarah Imenu? Is because Sarah Imenu was the first person in recorded history that was buried in the cave of the patriarchs and matriarchs in Ma'aras HaMachpelah. Other Machabu were there, but the Torah doesn't tell us that. Explicitly recorded, who was the only person, the first person that it says was buried there? Now, Ma'aras HaMachpelah wasn't easy to get. He had to negotiate with his Canaanim named Ephron. It wasn't easy. There was a whole transaction that occurred. There was a whole business deal that occurred. So one day they'll say, it's not yours. It's not yours. How do we know it's ours? And therefore the Torah goes ahead and the Torah tells you how old Sarah was, 127, and through the chronology, you can actually, through the history, you can figure out precisely the year then that Ma'aras HaMachpelah was purchased. You know what the Gemara says? Gemara says something very interesting. Gemara says in Baba Basra Kuf Samachem Simon Beis. Listen to what the Gemara says. Gemara says Avira to Eretz Yisrael Machkim, that the land of Israel, the environment, the atmosphere of Israel, it enlightens you. It makes you smarter. Now I got to tell you the truth. A lot of kids, boys and girls, they go to study, and I get a lot of calls. Where should I send my son? Where should I send my daughter? It's not easy. Should I send them? Maybe they shouldn't go to Israel. It's a good question. Should they go? Should they go? But everybody thinks it's a quick fix. My kids has this issue. Send them to Israel. You know what they have in Israel? It's a place. We're eight B'tov Yerushalayim. Supposed to look at the good of Eretz Yisrael and Yerushalayim. It's the most, of course, the holiest place on earth. But there's plenty of diversions, distractions, and plenty of places where Chas V'Shalom, the bad things can happen. There's a whole Machane Yehuda. There's a whole shuk over there. And then many kids get introduced over there to the wrong things for the first time. So what does it mean that the land of Israel goes out and makes you wise and smart and intelligent and builds your acumen and builds your faculties and gives you a certain cognizance you didn't have before, an awareness you didn't have before? So I want to share with you that there was actually a survey done in 2011. You won't believe this. 2011 was a survey done of the most educated countries, the brightest people on earth. Okay? You'll never believe who ranked. Right? All the countries were evaluated. And who ranked number two from the entire globe? You'll never believe it. None other than Eretz Yisrael. None other than Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael, geographically, is minute. It's the size of the state of New Jersey. As far as longevity is concerned, it's an infant. It's barely 70 years old compared to other ancient civilizations, right? Of course, Eretz Yisrael has a long history, the richest history, the longest history in the world. I'm saying, but it was in disrepair. It was basically for thousands of years. There was kamat. There was so what followed Israel? Japan was number 3. America was number 4. And what won the prize for number 1? The Canadians. Go figure that out, right? Canadians, I don't know how Canada won over. Okay. But Avira Eretz Yisrael Machkim. What does this mean, that Avira Eretz Yisrael Machkim? What does it mean that Eretz Yisrael makes you wise? So you go there, it makes you wise. Some Mefarshim say like this. It says, Tein l'chacham v'yachkamoy. Give to a wise person, and you'll make him even wiser. So it means that Chachma is not in a vacuum. Chachma means that you have to be receptacle for the wisdom. You have to be a product to receive it. You have to have initial wisdom in order to receive more wisdom. So it's not talking about somebody who goes here who's a total ignoramus necessarily, or doesn't have any tradition. It means it's somebody who has something. And therefore, an analogy is like this. You know, anybody that ever took high school or college chemistry, so you'll know that if you're studying from the textbook and you learn about all these formulas, it's very abstract, very, very hard, very confounding and very troubling, very hard to conceive and to fathom, to understand. But once you step into the laboratory and you start mixing, you make a compound, you take the formula and you say, wow, it's something tangible, something palatable, something you finally understand. In other words, it was in the textbook and you were able to go ahead, you were able to take a test, you were able to get it right, but you never really understood it. When you're in America, you learn about the Torah Kedosha. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, my grandparents did it, my great-grandparents, my parents even did it. I continue the tradition. But once you step foot in Eretz Yisrael, it's Avira to Eretz Yisrael Machkim, the land of Israel, it makes you smarter. Because you go into Israel, it's like the laboratory. You're stepping foot lahavdil into a laboratory. All of a sudden, you see Keva Rachel, Mama Rachel, and Beis Lechem. You see Marsach Pel and Chevron. You see the Kaisel HaMaravi in Yerushalayim. Wow! It's all true. It really does exist. Everything I learned about, it becomes real. I want to share with you a story that happened to me. My Alter Zayda, my grandfather's father, Rav Shimon Leiter Zatzal, who wrote the Yalkut Chodesh, is a very holy man, and he was into Kabbalah as well. So he very much wanted to be buried in Sfas, in the old cemetery of Sfas. And that was his charge. So my first time in Eretz Yisrael, it took me a long time to get there. I never had to find it. The first time I went there, I was actually going to be a Rabbi in a yeshiva there. So I wasn't, but I wanted very much to see my Alter Zeh, my grandfather's father. So I made a trip to Tzfas. Anybody that knows the old cemetery of Tzfas, it's not easy to navigate. There's no legends, there's no maps. You know, you get, really, it's very, very difficult. And I cannot find his caver. So I'm groping in the dark, I'm trying to find my way. And I have to share with you that when I was, a child, there's something that we were taught in school that really left an impression upon me, and that sort of also gave me nightmares. And what was it? It was a story of the Gemara, and Gittin tells a story like this. It's in Daf Nun Vavam Beis Gittin. It's also brought down in Josephus, in Josephus and Yosefun. It's also brought down in the Book of Maccabees that there was a woman who, most report her name was Chana. And this happened in the time of Chanukah, where the Syrian Greeks wanted to make what was called a polyglot empire, ecumenicism, where basically that everybody was equal, utopia, and to glorify and to vilify the soul and to glorify the body. That's what it was all about. And that everybody would have this certain type of harmony and peace. In the meantime, in the name of harmony and peace, what they do, they force the Jews to try to give up their Yiddishkeit, their principles. And he called one particular family. This particular family, the woman had 7 sons. And from one child to another child to another child, he tried to compel the child to go ahead and to give up Yiddishkeit, and to give it all up. And he said, basically says, I want you to bow down to me. I want you to prostrate yourself to me. And these were little children, but they were so principled. They understood what faith is all about. And they refused to give it up. And he barbarically went ahead and butchered them up. He killed one after another. Then eventually, after all 7 kids were killed, the mother herself also got killed. And Chana and her 7 sons. And I always heard the story, and always, it's something that made a searing impression upon me. But also, you think about it at night, it's not so pleasant to think about. But I always wondered, did this really? And then I was looking for my great-grandfather's grave. I stumbled, I tripped. And I open up my eyes, and what do I see? Po Nitman! Here lies Chana v'Shiva Banel. Chana and her 7 sons. I'm telling you, I had such a rush of emotions, I was crying like a baby. I said, what? So it really is true, it happened. It happened. There are people that will never ever doubt the fact there was a Benjamin Franklin. They will never doubt the fact there was an American Revolution. They'll never doubt the fact there was a Boston Tea Party. And they'll tell you the Torah isn't true. That history is immutable. History is inviolable. Of course it happened. When you see it firsthand, wow. Eventually I found my great-grandfather's caver as well. But we have emunah, faith. You understand that of course Yiddishkeit is true. It's all there, verified, authenticated. It's all there. It's so crystal clear. And even our rabbis, even our Shulchan Aruch, our code of Jewish law. How does the Shulchan Aruch start? The Shulchan Aruch starts, Yiskaber ka'ari. Wake up like a lion. That means you got to wake up. You have to say, I am on a mission. I'm here to accomplish in this world. What did I do today? Who did I impact? Who did I inspire? Who did I touch? Who did I give light to? Who did I kindle? There's so many Jews, hundreds of thousands of Jews right here in Brooklyn have no connection. What did I do for them? Yiskaber ka'ari. That's how Shulchan Aruch starts. You know what's amazing? Who wrote the Shulchan Aruch? Rav Yosef Karo wrote the Shulchan Aruch. He was born in Toledo, Spain in 1488. At 4 years old, he was a victim of the expulsion of the Inquisition. He had to leave Spain. His name was Yosef ben Ephraim Karo. Take the gematria of Yiskaber ka'ari, the first words of the Shulchan Aruch. It's precise gematria of Yosef ben Ephraim Karo. He encoded his name over there. So you say, well, that's great. He's the author. That doesn't mean anything special. I want to ask you a question. If you have a book, and he says this is a sefer, you take any book. Is there any correlation between the amount of chapters and the title? Generally not. Unless a person is very, likes doing cryptic and basically, likes doing, very, more esoteric things. Why should there be a correlation? Why should there be a connection? There shouldn't be any connection. Well, the Shulchan Aruch, the code of Jewish law that we follow every single day. If you take, this is just going to blow your mind, and make sure to repeat it to everybody you see today. It's going to blow your mind. If you take the amount of chapters that is in the 4 volumes of Shulchan Aruch, Shulchan Aruch is made up of Orach Chaim, Even Ezer, Yoreh, and Choshen Mishpat. Orach Chaim has 697 chapters. Even Ezer has in it 403. Yoreh, and Even Ezer and Choshen Mishpat, which deal with marriage, divorce, and money, they have the same 427. You see, because most marriage divorce is about money, right? So that's why there's 427. You add it all up. You take the 697 chapters in Orach Chaim, you take the 403 in Yoreh, you take the 427 in Even Ezer, and 427 in Choshen Mishpat. It's a precise gematria of 1,705. Okay? Those are the chapters. What about the books? One book is called Orach Chaim, the other book is called Yoreh, the other book is called Even Ezer, the other book is called Choshen Mishpat. Add it all up, it's 1,705. Is that a fluke? Is that serendipity? No. It's because you see there's a tremendous divine assistance in our code of Jewish law. We don't follow the code of Jewish law simply because a man wrote it. It's based on, so we have to have faith. We have a Torah. We have the Maris Pele, we have Chevron, we have Beis Lechem, we have the Kosam and Rabbi. But we go through hardships in life. It could be our children, could be livelihood, could be shidduchim, could be health, whatever it is. We all have hardships. And that's why we say every single day, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Why do I close my eyes when I say Shema? So Maram Chagiz says the reason why you close your eyes is because you're saying, says the Maram Chagiz, because when you say Kriya Shema, and you close my eyes because I'm showing that I follow God blindly. I have faith in Hashem. No matter what happens, I'm following Him blindly. I close my eyes. But ask the commentaries, so why then I could just squint. I could clench my lids over my eyes. Why do I have to take a hand and put it over my eyes? And the Mefarshim answered, because a hand is comprised of 5 appendages. In Hebrew, the thumb is called the agodel. The next is called the etzba. You have the zeres, you have the kmitza, and you have the amma. 5 different appellations identifications for the appendages. You take the agodel, you take the etzba, you take the amma, you take the kmitza, you take the zeres, the 5 fingers, and you add it to yad, the hand. It is the gematria of 1,118, which is the precise gematria of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Say every day. Make sure to say every day. A woman has to daven as well. A woman has to learn Torah as well. You say every day. And you are the woman, you're the Neshechai, you're the woman of value, you're the woman that are taking off. You say, I want to learn Torah, I want to develop a connection with Hashem. I don't want to just go with the flow. I don't want to just be a regular flappish person. Nothing wrong with flappish. Of course not. But flappish, we have ways to grow. We do. We're not as plugged in as we could and should be. And we have to feel inspired. Because we have to inspire others. It's our tafkin in life. We all want Mashiach. There's tragedy. There are kids that are suffering from cancer. I had a family that was davening by us, and their child was in the cancer ward. It was a mistake. Baruch Hashem a million times. The kid did not have cancer. But the family told me, you have no idea. They were in Mount Sinai, Sloan Kettering, we got big problems. We need Mashiach. You want to bring Mashiach? You have to live inspired and inspire others. Shema Yisrael, close your eyes. Have emunah. I'll give you another one. We say every day Shemona Esrei. How powerful is Shemona Esrei? Ladies have to say Shemona Esrei as well. Okay, listen, if you're running around after kids, whatever it is, and maybe you have an exemption. We'll talk about that another time privately if you want. But you have to say Shemona Esrei. What's in Shemona Esrei? Do you know how potent Shemona Esrei is? Do you know how effective and powerful it is? Do you know that Shemona Esrei, Magen Avos, the first blessing Shemona Esrei has in it, 42 words. The second blessing about resurrection of the dead and rain has in it 51 words. The third blessing, which is about wisdom. I need to attain wisdom. How else am I supposed to function in life if I can't differentiate and distinguish between bad and good? If I can't make decisions, I need clarity. That has in 17 words, and Atzah Kadosh has in it 14 words. You go ahead and you add it all up, all the brachos, you'll never believe how many words it is. It's Taryag, 613 words in the Shemona Esrei. And that's what you're tapping into. You know that the Chasam Sofer, I want to tell you about the Chasam Sofer. Chasam Sofer lived barely 200 years ago. You're not talking about somebody from 500 years ago, you're not talking about somebody from 1,000 years ago. At the time of the Chasam Sofer, the king of Hungary, who was also the emperor of Austria, his name was Ferdinand. Not Ferdinand Isabella from Spain, the king of Agur, not different Ferdinand. And when he was going to be inaugurated king, you'll never believe which day they decided to make the inauguration. Now, right, we're planning, Beshem, there's going to be a big inauguration for the new president-elect, right? It's going to be this spanking, who knows what it's going to be, right? Can you imagine a king, a majesty, imperial ruler, what kind of inauguration they had? And what day did they plan it for? It was Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. So Chasam Sofer, when he heard about this, he was sittering. He was trembling. He says, what's going to happen? He says, listen, everybody's going to have that temptation. It's almost an irresistible temptation to go ahead and to participate in the inauguration. And Kama B'Kama, countless Jews are going to deviate and stray from Yom Kippur. How could they do that? So he went ahead and he sequestered himself. He went ahead and isolated himself in none other than the yeshiva, and he davened his heart out, and he learned and davened and learned daven. Came the Erev, the inauguration, the day before. All of a sudden, this torrential rain, the Danube River, which is a famous river in Hungary, when it goes ahead, and it overflows, and it causes obstacles and impediments that no one can anticipate, and of course, it was canceled. After that, they said the Chasam Sofer was so ill that it davened for him feverishly because he was so taxing on him, because he was such a beloved Rav, and he cared so much. Could you do that? Could you pull that off? Could you daven and then torrential rains come and the river overflows? This is the holiness that we had. And you can meet descendants, living embodiments of the Chasam Sofer today. He has thousands of descendants that are walking around, gallivanting just like you and me. You know that they say that the Chasam Sofer's son, he says, we say every day in the davening, Nikadesh Shivcha, let us sanctify God, Bamarom, let us sanctify God in this world, just like they sanctify him upstairs in the heavens, in the celestial and divine chambers. So the little boy, Shimon Sofer, says to his mother, Mama, they actually cared to know what they're saying back then, right? Today we barely enunciate even the words properly, right? He says, Mama, what should I do? I don't know how they sanctify him upstairs. How am I supposed to sanctify him down here? She says, good question, ask your father, right? Homework, ask your father, right? So he goes to his father, he says, Tati, how am I supposed to? And Tati says, come with me this morning to shul and stand with me under the talus. Later on that day, he goes to Mommy, he says, Mommy, I saw it all. I saw how they do it. I was under the talus of Tati. He saw the malachim. Okay? This is what we had. You want emunah? There's not fiction, there's not myth, it's not legend, it's not fairy tales. We have emunah. My Rabbi Rav Pamzitzal, you saw him? You know there was holiness. No doubt. No doubt. Listen, Kislev, Chodesh Kislev today, you got to actualize yourselves in Kislev. You got to tap into the 36 hidden lights. You got to understand that you don't know who those 36 Lamavonics are. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you're one of them. What does it take to be one? It takes selflessness. It means that there's somebody to reach out to. Take initiative. Spark, kindle a flame, tap in. And that Lamaisha, that's what BGX is all about. Talking about the Chasam Sofer, do you know that there's a guy that goes to BGX who was raised in Brooklyn, mamish in Brooklyn, in Flatbush, never knew what Shabbos was, never knew what kosher was. When we sent him to learn, because he was in BGX for 3 years, started taking on this and that, and we sent him to Eretz Yisrael to learn, we sponsored his trip to Yeshiva there, he finds out that he is a direct descendant, a Ben Acher Ben. Not a grandson from a maternal, or this or that, a kvetch, a twist. Ben Acher Ben from the Shloh HaKadosh. Not too many people in Jewish history were called Kadosh, holy. He is a ben, ben. Imagine what nachas we are bringing, the whole BGX is bringing to the Rebbe Shalom, that Shlav Kaddish is anical. Then there's a guy, we mentioned Bnei Yissaschar earlier, who's a direct descendant of the Bnei Yissaschar. How'd that happen? How'd that happen? Just love. Bringing light. Be'ez Hashem, it should be a month of tremendous light for all of us. We should talk and see Oira, we should see Simcha, and Yashikoyach for everybody for your patience. Thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it so much. And Mazel Tov to everybody. Mazel Tov on the foundation, on the initiation, the formation. Yashikoyach to all the ladies that work so hard to make it a reality. Baruch Hashem should bless you. B'chol Tov Be'ez Hashem. Yashikoyach. Thank you.